Welcome to our special presentation this week titled The VectorVest Method of Analyzing Stocks. My name is Todd Shaffer, Manager of Research for VectorVest, and I'll be your presenter this evening. There's a lot of noise out there regarding stocks and markets. We're left to determine which is true and which is false. VectorVest believes in taking a factual, analytical approach to solving this riddle, and it all begins with knowing what a stock is really worth, how safe it is, and when to buy, sell, or hold it. The first question is all about value. Price is not a good indicator of value as markets routinely over or undervalue stocks. So what is a good arbiter of value? As investors, we're most concerned about a company's financial performance and its implied return on our investment. The best indicator of this performance is earnings. VectorVest looks at earnings performance, but we want to be sure to consider the economic environment of that performance. The same dollar of earnings in a high inflation and/or high interest rate environment is not the same. So earnings is the good guy, but inflation and interest rates, the bad guys, negatively impact that earnings performance. Here we have a table of 4 stocks pulled from the VectorVest database from April 4th of this year. On the table we have the company name, their trading symbol, the exchange they trade on. If it has this little X in front of it, that means that the stock is optionable. Its closing price as of the 4th of April, and its valuation on that same date, and we've sorted the table by this value. That brings Herbalife to the top of the table as the highest valued stock, and Veritone to the bottom of the list as the lowest valued stock. By this analysis, we can see the market is currently undervaluing our top 3 stocks while overvaluing Veritone. We consider stocks to be priced within 10% of their value as being fully valued. This method of valuation indicates the intrinsic value of the stock relative to its current price at this point in time in the current economic climate. But investing in stocks is a forward-looking exercise, so we have another way of considering value. We call it relative value, an indicator of long-term price appreciation potential relative to a AAA corporate bond. In our formulation, we consider price, value, earnings growth, current AAA corporate bond rates, and risk are all used to compute this relative value. One of the things you'll come to appreciate about VectorVest is that we don't just create more data points to add to the blizzard of data already generated by this industry that are already confusing. Rather, our indicators are providing insights into the performance of these companies. To reflect that insight, we use a simple convention of a 0 to 2 scale. The value of 1 is neutral, below 1 is unfavorable, above 1 favorable. The closer you get to the extremes of 0 and 2, the stronger the indication. So here, values above 1 indicate that the stock should outperform a AAA-rated corporate bond. Values below 1 indicate that it should underperform. So let's apply it to our sample group. We've added a column to the right-hand side of our table now for RV, and sorted the list by RV descending. So Micron-Tech with the highest upside potential should handily outperform a AAA corporate bond and is at the top of the list. Veritone, with the lowest upside potential, should underperform the AAA corporate bond and is at the bottom of the list. Our second question and our next indicator is to answer how safe is the stock I'm considering. Relative safety, or RS, is an indicator of risk. It looks at the consistency and predictability of the financial performance of the company, as well as several other factors in assessing the relative safety of the stock. Essentially, the company's financial track record. Again, we use that 0 to 2 scale. So applying it to our table again of our 4 stocks, we see Micron-Tech at the top of the list with a score of 1.42, representing of the 4 that it is the safest of the 4, and at the bottom of the list, Veritone with the lowest RS score. Our last question was, when should I buy, sell, or hold the stock? Our RV and RS indicators comprise our look at a company's financial performance. Relative timing, RT, is a technical indicator that is an indicator of short-term price trend. The direction, magnitude, and dynamics of price history are used to determine relative timing. At VectorVest, we advocate buying rising stocks in rising markets as your best defense against the bears. You may have bought falling stocks in the past just to find yourself hoping and praying for them to come on back. At the level of the individual stock, the best way to avoid the trap is to buy a stock when it's rising, trending higher. This time, indicator values above 1 indicate the stock price is in an uptrend. Below 1, it's in a downtrend. So as we add it to our table, we see now Herbalife at the top of our list is in the strongest uptrend, and Veritone, because its value is below 1, is in the strongest downtrend. But we also notice that Builders First, while it had good RV and RS scores, is currently in a downtrend as well. Our next indicator is our master indicator, the VST Vector. VST Vector combines RV, RS, and RT into a single comprehensive indicator. This combination incorporates fundamental as well as technical analysis. The vector part of the name indicates how we combine the indicators mathematically using the vector formula from physics. Find the square root of the sum of the squares. We then slightly overweight RT and slightly underweight RV to give favor to stocks that are uptrending. Let's add it to our table. We've added VST to the table and sorted descending. Micron Tech at the top has the highest VST score, Veritone the lowest. By sorting this list by VST descending, we've brought to the top of the list the stocks with the best combination of value, safety, and timing. Not only is our inclusion of fundamental and technical analysis in our core indicator unique, so is this idea of forced ranking, that there's a best and a worst by virtue of the analysis. In other words, there's a stock with the best upside potential, the safest, the strongest uptrend, the strongest combination of all three. So far, we've covered 2 of our 3 questions. What's a stock worth? How safe is it? Our final question is, when should I buy, sell, or hold it? Let's begin with the question of when we should sell, probably the hardest part for most investors. Every day, VectorVest assigns a buy, sell, or hold rating for every share in the database. That rating system is rules-driven and begins with our stop price, an adjusted 13-week moving average of closing price. The adjustment is based on the fundamental analysis of the stock. Those with stronger fundamentals are given a little more room to move. Those with weak fundamentals are trailed more closely to get us out quicker on an adverse move. We discussed earlier our preference for buying stocks that are rising. It makes sense then that we'd want to sell a stock that has started to go down. But if you look at the price graph of any stock, you'll see right away that none of them go straight up with no pullbacks. So the question is really one of how much should I let the price move against me before I close the position? That answer will be determined by your objectives for the trade and your temperament as an investor. We offer our stop price as a quote-unquote line in the sand. Certainly any stock that broaches its 13-week moving average, or 65-day moving average, needs to be considered for closing the position. We've calculated the stop price for each of our sample stocks, and notice all of them have a price higher than the stop price, except for Veritone. So let's review the rules of how VectorVest assigns a buy, hold, or sell rating to every stock in our database every day. Remember, our buy, sell, and hold ratings are driven by data and rules applied to those data points. No guessing, no intuition, no personal bias to worry about. Let's begin with that sell rating. A stock will get a sell rating when its price is less than its stop price, as was the case with Veritone. When the price moves above the stop price, the stock will get a hold rating, and it'll keep that hold rating as long as the price remains above the stop, but the other 3 conditions for a buy rating are not met. To get a buy rating in our system, the stock has to do a lot more work. First of all, yes, the price needs to be above its stop price. But it also needs to have a VST score above 1, which means because the VST score is derived from the three factors of RV, RS, and RT, mathematically you're likely to have some fundamental strength when your VST score is above 1. Our next criteria is that the RT score be above 1, that the stock is in an uptrend. And then finally, that price must be diverging away from the stop price, in other words, accelerating faster than that moving average of stop price. So let's think of these as adjectives, not verbs. When I see that a stock has a buy rating, I know some things about it. That its price is currently above its stop price, it has some fundamental strength, and it's in an uptrend. And that's a pretty good place to start. Those are the kinds of stocks that we'd like to consider. So let's apply our ratings to the 4 sample stocks. Here we've added the recommendation profile on the right-hand side of our table and sorted it alphabetically. And on a secondary sort, because we have a tie of buy ratings, we've sorted alphabetically by symbol to break the tie. We mentioned earlier that the market often over or undervalues stocks based on market sentiment, manias, etc. Here we notice that while Builders Services had solid fundamentals, it's currently in a downtrend and so has a hold rating. And it's currently about 40 cents away from getting a sell rating. Looking at Veritone, it's currently overvalued, has weak fundamentals, it's in a strong downtrend, and has a sell rating. So that comprises the core of the VectorVest system of analysis for stocks. Let's put it through its paces and apply what we've learned to some live market data. I've moved us into the program on our home page. We see that we're looking at closing data as of the 12th of April. I'm going to click on the Viewers tab and open our stock viewer. The stock viewer is simply a giant spreadsheet of all 7,800 stocks we're tracking in the US database. I'll minimize the viewer's window so we can see more of that data. But the first thing I'd have you notice is that our list of stocks is not alphabetical by name or by symbol. We're not listed by price or by percentage price change. We're listed and sorted by VST descending order. Remember, this brings to the top of the list the stocks that have the best combination of relative value, relative safety, and relative timing. So let's step through what we call the thumbnail analysis of our top stock, Cadmium ABCD. It's currently priced at $11.92, valued at $17.40, which is favorable. It has an RV score of 1.62, which is good, and RS at 1.09, slightly above average for the database, but favorable. And an RT score of 1.88, meaning that it's currently in a strong uptrend. Its composite VST score is 1.58, again favorable. And rounding out our core analysis, it's currently rated a buy. Beyond that, core analysis is also easy to see that it has a comfort index rating, which is a price persistence rating of 1.61, which is favorable. And they currently are earning 60 cents per share and growing those earnings at a rate of 37% per year. And currently they do not pay a dividend. Any stock that's highlighted in the stock viewer, we then show its industry performance on our bottom line. It's in the miscellaneous business services industry, and that industry is currently in an uptrend. And so you can see how quickly and easily the VectorVest analysis is telling us the story of that stock. Of course, we'd want to look at the stock graph and the market conditions as well before we would take a position, but this analysis from the VectorVest system makes the process of analyzing the stock a 30-second exercise. To compare and contrast, let's try resorting our stock viewer by VST ascending, which means I'll bring to the top of the list the stock that has the lowest VST score or the weakest VST score in the database. And because Tapinator is a penny stock, let's move down to UBI blockchain. priced at $3.50. The VectorVest system assesses a valuation of 52 cents. It has an RV score of 0.19, which is unfavorable. RS at 0.30 is unfavorable. And an RT value at 0.03, a very strong downtrend. We see overall it has a VST score of 0.20 and a comfort index of 0.01. It currently has a sell rating. They're losing 3 cents per share and increasing that loss at a rate of 6% per year. They're in the crypto stocks industry, and that industry itself is in a strong downtrend. And so you can see the VectorVest system of analysis is providing you information, understanding of how these companies are performing. For some additional resources, resorted by VST descending, if you wanted to learn more about Cambium, you can right-click on any stock and view its stock analysis report. We give you the current stock data points, a summary of our analysis, a stock graph and an industry graph over the past 6 months, a description of the business, and then we move into the VectorVest indicators. So every indicator that's in the stock viewer by default represented in the analysis report. So to help you become more familiar with these indicators, I suggest you print out a copy of any of the stock analysis reports, and you can read VST is a master indicator for the ranking of every stock in the VectorVest database. We tell you how the stock rates for that indicator, and we give you a sense for how that indicator is derived. VST is computed from the square root of a weighted sum of the squares of RV, RS, and RT. Stocks with the highest VST ratings have the best combination of value, safety, and timing. For some additional resources, I would recommend our Welcome tab, which will help you build a watch list of the stocks that you're familiar with so you can apply our VectorVest system to stocks you already know, and also our Training tab, where we offer the Successful Investing Quick Start course, which teaches not only our analysis system, but how to use the VectorVest system on a very prudent basis. Of course, you can always call or email our product support team for more help in the program. Because ultimately, our mission is to provide the best stock market guidance available anywhere at any price. Thank you for watching.